I'm Felix Hosse. I'm the founder of the Ego Institute, and I presented the project Cryptocurrencies Multipliers for Freedom. It was great. The presentation itself was amazing, but everything that led up to it was, I think, even more amazing. When we talk about, we arrived here and we gave a pitch, and the pitch was, we thought about it obviously months before, but it was comparably raw, compared to what we presented in the end. And then we had those 3 stages where everybody came around and basically tested us and, just like kind of poked us a little bit, tried to poke holes into our concept. And that was really good because it was very well structured. So we started off with why, then with the outcomes, and then with the outputs, which is basically how you should think about a project. But when you think about a project on your own, you start mixing them, right? So it was very well structured. I was challenged a lot, and that was just so great that we ended up with a finished product in the end. Like after this entire process, I know I could give this project to someone else who doesn't know anything about it, and it would be a success. You have to distinguish both, like 2 things. Where it's happening, this is an amazing place, right? This is an amazing place. You can see that people want to get things done around here. They want to do things differently. It's really this testing the status quo, and you can see that from the architecture, which people they invite, the kind of professionalism all around. So that's one thing. The other thing is the co-creation, where you really are bringing people who have a passion for freedom and also for blockchain, decentralized technologies in and of itself. And you bring them together and you have very, very honest feedback, right? You don't have this, I wouldn't say like corporate mindset, which comes up to, hey, we just have everybody come in and then we acknowledge that every project is really, really cool. It's really, really nice. No, you have honest feedback, and then you make a great product out of it, right? Because you have a very different goal, right? The goal is to change things, to challenge the status quo. And it's not to make everyone feel, happy about themselves. At the end of the day, we felt very happy about ourselves. But that came after a process of 6 hours of our, intellectual babies being challenged. And we have to, find a way to find the compromise between what we wanted in the first place and what is the best way of doing it, right? And then this process was very, very nice in the end of the day. Cryptocurrencies Multipliers for Freedom is a journalism school. When you look at Europe and blockchain regulation over there, it's a mess. We have a very idealistic crowd on one hand, and then we have banks and other vested interest on the other, and we try to stifle innovation. We need the public support, And in order to get to the public, we need to get to mainstream journalists. I'm from Germany. Germany is a very large domestic market, but it's also very powerful within the EU. So Germany is the starting point of actually anything that goes wrong in Europe or anything that might go right in Europe, And this is where we have to get the German public on board with crypto. It's not that we have to get them to be innovators, like every single one of them. We just have to get them to a point where they're not in the way, actively voting for legislation, which just stifles this potential, right? So we invite German journalists, which are from the mainstream, and we give them a 1-day intense in-person school. Everything they need to know about blockchain. What is it? How to use it? What's the societal impact of this? Then also debunking some of the myths that are around it, right? Afterwards, we give them, we pair them with mentors, and we have our, little community, a WhatsApp group where they can ask the questions, and we answer them. We help them to write articles. We have them pledge 2 articles per journalist. We're gonna buy 30 of them, so that makes 60 articles a year, and we're gonna have great coverage of this. At the end of the day, we want to have 2 million readers of those articles, and just shift the conversation towards a more freedom and blockchain friendly environment. They are important for freedom for multiple different reasons. First, financial freedom and connection to international financial markets. When we talk about Germany, it might not seem very apparent what Germans who are very well connected to the financial markets could gain from this. But if you want to look at in the third world, for example, you have people who can offer great services to everyone around the world, including Germans. But their countries do not allow them for that particular for partaking in the international financial processes. Crypto is peer-to-peer. We get the money from Germany to, for example, Nigeria, to other countries of the third world within seconds. And we don't have any government interference with it. Because let's face it, there are countries in the first world where we trust our governments. But it does not mean that governments are trustworthy in and of itself, quite to the contrary. In my opinion, the majority of countries where governments are a force that threatens freedom. And that is what crypto can bridge. And we can just come to a place where people who have something to offer and people who want this are actually just matched like this. And it's incredibly simple when you say it like that, but it's incredibly profound in what potential for human flourishing this can have for everybody. When you talk about a workplace, then you're talking about basically giving people structure. A company is structure, right? And when you want to enhance creativity, you sometimes have to break a little bit of that structure, right? You have to give people a lot of autonomy to think about their ideas. And the first step should always be give them the autonomy, give them space for their creativity, and then bring it back, Let them explore freely in the first space, and then challenge it honestly, right? That's what we did with co-creation, right? What we did in the first part of the program, we came up with the ideas, on our own because of our local experience, right? We have our local and our cultural experience in the different countries that we're from. We know this, right? And then you pair us with those ideas with people from other cultures and from other surroundings, and you let them test it, right? You have people who are very successful also, in my particular case, in reaching out to journalists, and they had really good ideas in how to push my project further across the finish line, right? So let them explore, utilize their local and personalized knowledge, and then bring in the reality check. And then you basically have a funnel, and then how does this fit in with our corporate or whatever company vision? That should be the process. And I think most workplaces have the issue of putting this step first, right? Of saying, all right, this is the corset that you have to work within, and you do not get to get those great ideas, because let's face it, a lot of workplaces are actually made for people to just function in their very limited role. And for them, that's not a priority. But when you want to have creativity and when you have disruption, this is what you have to be doing. I mean, creativity is basically the start of innovation, right? We have a current solution to a problem. That's the best case scenario. The problem is already solved in a way, but it causes other problems. It's not the ideal solution, right? And we need to have people who look at a problem and say, hey, this is one way of solving it, but maybe there's a better one. So this is where creativity comes in, right? Creativity should be the starting point to every problem solution, right? And this is where everybody can go crazy, right? This is also where companies should encourage people going crazy. Afterwards, the critical thinking is basically the idea of saying, all right, we saw what you did, we saw what you thought about, but how is this in line with reality? Giving the reality check. And how is this in line with our constraints? Because some of our creativity is almost limitless, but then it collides with the reality where there are so many constraints: time, money, human resources. So those two have to get hand in hand. like, creativity and critical thinking. What is theoretically possible and what is, practically possible. And once you have those in line, you can have really great processes to make your company very, very innovative.